So on this trail north, going straight up, you come to this area that's covered in tall, old timber. It's dead, some alive, a lot of debris, but it looks like you're walking into a portal.
Yes.
Okay? Now, I call that loosely a portal, okay? In my mind, it's just an area that has a different feeling.
Yes.
A different, you get a different mood when you walk into there.
It's dark.
It's dark. It's very dark. And scary, yeah.
Eerie.
It is scary. Eerie.
We got within 20 yards of
Yeah.
it. That's when the tapping started. Behind us, in front of us, and to the side, and we could smell that garbagey smell, and that's when we decided that we would come back to camp. It was just freaky. It was spooky, and that was so dark, and it did the way that it is almost like a tunnel.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
And we decided we'd come back, and we came back here, and I had not a GoPro, but my kids bought me. You could use it underwater and all. There was a tube type of thing.
Yeah.
So I kept that behind my back, like this, just in case, we're walking back, and nothing was on it. But we got back here, and it was like 15 minutes later, as we're eating chicken and stuff.
Yeah.
We dropped she made them wild berry muffins.
Oh, okay.
So we dropped those off back there, and we got back here, and that's when we were eating and all that, and I started doing that call that they had done a month earlier, and it was probably on the fourth time I attempted it that he kept shooting across there. So, and I firmly believe that they were. It's a family of them. I firmly believe that. I can't prove it, but yeah, that was a very eerie. When we got back there, that's as far as we had gone. Because we had just discovered this place, so
right.
And all that tapping and stuff, and then we turned the corner to go there, and as we're slowing up, the closer we got to that area, the more the tapping, the louder the tapping got, and all that. And we had already looked for her dad's tree in Skamania County, and same thing kind of happened with the something was there, and so that's why we came back to camp.
Have you been back there many times, or not at all?
I took Brent back there.
Yeah.
To show him when I could get back there, when I was still healthy enough to get back there. And
it's quite, once you reach that portal, it's quite an incline from that point on. It's like a totally different.
Yes. And there is a pond up there, because we've gone on Google Earth and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a big pond up there, so they have a water source. And the thing was, like when I said, with just across this creek, and they brought that little tree down over there, and then they busted it. I listened to this whole thing that night. And here's where I'm jumping back and forth, and I understand what she's talking about. When I was here by myself that night, and they just across here, and then they busted that like 20 feet up and brought it around. And honestly, when you walk over there, it looks like an A, but I don't believe they went, here's an A.
Yeah.
It's some kind of something that happened, but we saw that further up when we went up that month later. We saw those same things, only they were off trail in the standing straight up and down and stuff. So it was that was really something. My biggest thing was watching her react, that the sound she made that came, I've never heard that come out of my wife ever.
Yeah.
She was frightened beyond belief when that bluff charge started.
Was it one of those like?
Oh, it was one. It was
A
very.
gasp?
She feared for her life,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was just that's the part I deal with mostly, and it gets to me. But I'm also it's going to take me a long time to deal with that and keep working at getting well and all that kind of stuff. But I just that sound she made and that look in her eyes of helplessness and all that, and then those comments that were made by somebody on Sasquatch Chronicles, in the, after you could see where the story was written,
Yeah.
West puts it in words too, and it caused me to question myself. What kind of husband was I? I mean, seriously. And she told me, she says, you were absolutely my hero that night. So, but there's things that my memory's blocked with several things from that night and the night of my, what I spent out here that night. Like I said, I forgot the creek. She said we walked right up to the creek and we talked about how our grandson would just love it and all that stuff. And I spent the entire day here and don't remember the creek.
Wow.
But I do now, of course.
Yeah.
But that's...
But you would think, audio-wise, or, that you didn't even hear the creek. Because it's quite loud and it takes up... Yeah, I hear that, before anything, you hear the creek. I hear that, what Mondo was saying, babbling, or you said babbling brook,
yeah.
or because it changes. It doesn't fall constant.
Well, this area that we're in right now, as soon as you get, I want to say 60 meters away, you forget about the creek. It's gone. It's not even in your mind anymore, unless you're thinking of a direction that you're going or where camp is. Because this is so thick and these trees are so big that it just dampens the sound and it just goes away. So when you're even out there walking, you can hear, you hear your footsteps, but you can hear a twig snap. It's like hearing a pin drop. And when you hear it, I mean, your face immediately goes to where your ears are telling you, and your mind is telling you to look, because that crick is just not in your thoughts anymore. You I guess it's because you get so focused on something else. It's almost like a distraction. So if you hear one sound, there might be 20 other sounds you're not hearing, and they might be close to you.
When those footsteps started, I was sitting about where Nikki is, but facing that way, and the fire pit was just a little bit more that way at that time. I just, that foot stomp, I was like, and it way overwhelmed that creek, it was way overwhelmed it. And the footsteps also way overwhelmed it. But the thing was, all that stuff, I don't remember the creek at all. I don't remember the creek. I don't remember her and I walking up and saying, yeah, our grandson loved it. And I had, when she got here, and she's like, well, what happened over there? I said, over where? And she's like, well, across the creek. And I was like, there's a creek. I'm missing something in there.
Don't ever beat yourself up over not hearing the crick.
Yeah, it's
because it's something that when it's happening, you have tunnel vision.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And that's what you probably experience, is an actual true tunnel vision where you have your blinders on, you don't see anything other than, what am I seeing? What is happening at this right I mean, it's so easy to criticize and say anything like that until you actually live that moment. It's almost like driving on ice, and you're about to crash and you're steering left, but you should have steered right, and you're thinking like, oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So if it's just a crick and the sound and the grandkid and everything like that, it's okay that that's not there. You can't beat yourself up or even think that there's like something that's like I'm sad or I'm happy not remembering, either or.
I just don't know why I don't remember the creek.
It's simple. It's tunnel vision, because this is laser focused on clear and present danger, and that's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to live. That's
exactly.
I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be killed by one of these things.
It's sheer survival mode. It's only a myth until like you're face in front of it. You're face to face with that. And we all grew up hearing tales. We've all grown up with comic books and movies and scary movies and everything. And you have a natural phobia of just little things because of shit like that. But when you're facing it in reality, everything goes out the window. And what I was saying earlier, when you have no control, that's the scariest thing a human being can ever experience, when they don't have control of their own life. Because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You only think of survival.
Yeah, I had tucked my phone under the sleeping bag after I made that video, because I figured, well, if they take me and they kill me, at least, because I made it clear when I made that made that little message for my wife that I thought that I was going to be murdered by these things, and then it was Sasquatch.
I've been scared in my life. I really have been terrified. I've been by people. People have tried to kill me, and I've lived through that, and that's pretty scary. But over my shoulder right now is I just heard something talking, and it wasn't the crick, because I heard the bloop bloop in the water, and I heard a soft voice. Did you hear?
Yeah, that's what I heard earlier. I didn't.
And it was very simple, single syllables, so maybe one or two syllables.
Yeah, that's